Greetings to our wonderful viewers watching us around the world. I'm your host, like always, for tonight, an ambassador, Sayeda Fatma, representing Dubai. Welcome to Yes, known as Youth Empowerment Series for our 9th episode. We're shedding some light on career counseling, and we'll talk soon, so stay tuned. A little more about the Tatawwar, because I know a lot of you have heard of this word. It is an interactive online and face-to-face program that brings together students from age 15 to 18, schools, parents, and the business committee to innovate for a sustainable future by addressing the three United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that are first, health and well-being, second, clean water and sanitation, and third, climate action. I've been spoken about few of these goals in the previous episodes, so do check it out if you have missed it. Now, more on the Tatawwar. Now, what does Tatawwar mean? It means to develop in Arabic. That encourages students to learn and apply core future skills in areas of innovative design thinking, financial literacy, critical thinking, and entrepreneurship, using a blended approach to empower the youth. The Tatawwar has also helped them challenging their facing in the committees to turn them into an innovative opportunities. But did you know that the past 3 editions of the program has seen more than 10,000 students from across 2,800 schools across the Middle East and North Africa region itself, registering and blended learning experience? Now, having an online and a mobile-first strategy helps the Tatawwar to reach remote regions and make it accessible to all students. After building their solution on the online platform, the talented youth closest to their cities are invited for the workshops. Now, given the impact that the Tatawwar has on the communities across the MENA region, it has been recognized internationally, winning several prestigious awards. Just this past week, the program won awards at the International Business Excellence Award 2021, gold for the most effective social impact, and silver for the team of the year. And also to carry on is a silver for the best online program at the Winton Reimage Education Awards. And you already know the program now has also won 2 gold awards at the Gulf Sustainable Awards 2021 for the best learning and shortlisted in the Global Goods Award for Education Excellence and Special Judges Awards for innovative categories. So you don't want to miss to be part of this and get the certificate. So now the Tatawwar 2021 and 2022 will be more special because the finals, yes, the finals will take place in Dubai, visiting Expo 2020. Now for today's episode, before we go deep into this interesting discussion on career counseling, let us give a warm welcome to our special guest speaker, Rima, who is here, and as also a little insight on her, is she is a founder and director of Counseling Point Training and Development, a small counseling center with a big vision. She holds a master's degrees in medical and psychiatric social work from Steel Mears College, sorry if I'm not pronouncing this right, and a bachelor's of science degree from the Women's Christian College. And we can't forget to welcome my co-host, Umaima, as well to share us the latest insight and trends that you will find very helpful. We would love to know more about you from your side, Ms. Rima.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is indeed an honor to be here today. I actually was surprised when I was suddenly contacted and requested to be a guest speaker. It is a very, very important aspect, especially given all the disruption that has been caused by Corona and all the changes that students have had to face, both not only students, but also their teachers, their families, because everything has been turned topsy-turvy. But I'm so proud of the fact that so many of you have been able to adapt and shown such a lot of resilience to adapt and embrace change, because change, like we know, is a universal constant. Whatever our age, whatever region we come from, there's always going to be change. But this particular thing that happened for the last 2 years, and every day we hear of new things that are happening, has been something that none of us have ever expected or prepared for. So whether it, what I do through my counseling center is prepare students for the future, and mostly it is through career counseling. So students as young as those in the 9th grade come to me to talk about what their dreams and aspirations are. So what are the subjects they would need to select to actualize those goals. Then there are students who have already chosen a subject, chosen a career, and then are disenchanted with it. For some reason, they thought they had chosen wisely, but after being in that particular area, found that that was not a good match. So through the center, I see both students from school as well as those that are professionals. I know that this particular platform is for the youth and for the young adults. Now, I'd like for all of you to understand that whatever you choose now, whatever career you choose now is not going to be wasted, because you're only going to be building on it. See, many times parents come to me and say, my daughter, my son is not able to make up his or her mind. This week it is this particular profession. This week he says he wants to learn football. And then after that, it is about learning something like a musical instrument. Now, all of those things that interest us, we need to explore. Because when we have knowledge about those things, we can then make informed decisions. This is my take on and this is just one aspect of what I do. A lot of things go into it, and I'm blessed to be able to reach out and help students. A few of them are now doing their PhDs. So, yes.
Wow. That's some empowering and ambitious words that you have just shared with us. We have some students as viewers that would like to ask you some questions. My first question would be, what are some essential skills for university students who are planning to apply, and how can they develop it?
Okay, so we all know that there are 4 C's that are very, 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 very important: critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. These 4 C's are so important in tomorrow's world, today's world, and for the future. Because unless we collaborate and have creativity in our, that's why we talk about design thinking, that's why we are talking about making people more aware and become problem solvers, think critically. Why do we do that? Because we cannot be set in our thinking. Have an open mindset. We need to be able to adapt to change. Unless we do that, we will be very rigid. So 4 things that I feel are critical would be critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. But there are other skills. For example, being in a leadership role, taking the initiative. Example, taking up social skills, being aware, culturally aware. It's before we used to talk only about emotional intelligence. We used to talk about IQ. Now we also talk about CQ, meaning you have to be culturally aware. See, Dubai, UAE is like a microcosm of the entire universe. We have more than 200 nationalities. You go into any office, you're not going to see people from one particular nationality. So if we are aware and are understanding of various perspectives, if we are not just rigid and say my way or highway, it's going to be better for us, because irrespective of where we work in the future, there will be people with varying thought processes, different decisions, different ways of thinking and doing things. And unless we have the social skills to accept that there are more than one way of doing things, we will be isolated. So many times people ask me, don't you think for tomorrow's world you have to be competitive, you have to compete? Yes, competition is important, but more important is collaboration. Because unless we see this forum that all of you are putting together is possible only because of collaboration through various people, various entities, correct? So in life, just as in your endeavor, we have to collaborate with people rather than just compete. Social skills are very important. The ability to communicate, the ability to speak to people, that's also so important, because I have found that a lot of times people are now so engrossed in their digital devices that it is impacting the way they communicate with people. While digital literacy and all of that is very important, it's also important that to have the human connect. Unless that is happening, we will have a lot of awkward people who are not able to communicate their ideas through social transaction. Yes. So all of these things and the flexibility is very, 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 very important.
That's a great answer right there. I totally agree what skills you have said, the 4 C's. That's like the best way to just sort all the skills out. But I would like to know, like you mentioned about, it's not about competition between students, but in life, there's always competition. So how would you say to the students that have competitors, and who are they and why, and how can they stand out against them, but not in an aggressive way, more of a friendly way to outshine them?
Right. So see, the old way of competing to get the prize, all of you, yes, even for this platform, you're all trying to win a prize, right? But when we do it in a way that everybody is engaged, okay? So when you share information, for a simple example I'll give you, when you share information, if you think that this is only for me, I shouldn't share this information, then I will be a big, I would be a winner because I'm not sharing. You're doing yourself a disservice. Because when you share that information, another person will also reciprocate when the time comes. So I believe that a certain amount of competition is important to give you the push to move forward and to set certain goals and to work towards them. But at the same time, one should not be selfish in that process. The more we engage others and the more embracing we are of other people and acknowledge that there may be others who are even better than us, the more likely we are to give our best in whatever we undertake.
Yes, that's really good saying right there. It's more about not just being alone, but being together in it and to learn together, not just skills, but like knowing each other. And that's how we grow as a person, as a human being. My last question would be, I think a lot of us are asking this, is what is the objective of career counseling? And at the same time, do students realize that it is in the career that they're going to pursue? And how do you help them with that? And what are you looking for in the terms of getting to know them?
Okay. When I was your age, okay, I read a small statement which left an indelible mark on me. And it said, you can count the number of seeds in an apple. You can count the number of seeds in an apple. But can you count the number of apples in a seed? You can't, right? You can see the seed, but can you see how many apples it will yield? You cannot, right? So in my opinion, each one of us is endowed with various talents, various capabilities. We have aptitude for certain things that we are born with. And then there are other things that we acquire through learning, maybe through online learning, maybe through our textbooks, maybe through interactions with people, maybe through professional development courses, whatever it is. All of us have to have this growth mindset. We have to have this ability to realize there is no full stop to learning. So when you ask me, how do I help my student, I would love to understand what they're all about. I ask them a lot of questions to understand what are some of their experiences, what are some of their dreams, what are some of their aspirations. Now, oftentimes in this world, we always say, find your passion, and then everything else falls into place. Now, let me tell you, there is increasing research which says that passion can be developed. You may not have recognized your passion at 15 and 17. It's fine. When you are interested in something and you invest your energy and time in that something, over a period of time, you will develop a passion towards that subject. So whether it is forensics, whether it is debate and drama, but when you explore all those different little things that make up who you are, the more likely you are to make decisions that are informed decisions. So whether you are going to work in a federal government entity or a private school, or you're going to work as an entrepreneur, all those interactions that you've had and all of the learning. See, now because of COVID, a lot of students could not go into internships. They weren't able to take up internships. I encourage my students, please, there are so many online courses through Coursera, edX, and Udemy, and various other things. Go ahead, go and do it, because when you have done those things, it may trigger some ideas about what could be a good fit for us. And like I told you, when I was your age, I only thought that I wanted to be a doctor so that I could help people. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew that. But I didn't know that there are various ways of helping people. What you are doing today is also helping people, right? So whether you take up psychology, whether you take up banking and finance, whether you take up medicine, if you have that mindset where you want to reach out and make a difference in the community, you will look for opportunities to do that. I encourage all of my students to take on community development programs, to become volunteers with CDA, Community Development Authority, whether it is through Emirates Environment Group or whether it is through Marine Ecology Group, whatever it is. The more you go out of your comfort zone, the more you get to know other people and what they're going through, the more you will realize what it is that you have, and that will be the foundation to make things easier for you. That will make you understand what else you can do to actualize your goals and find your purpose in life. When students and parents come to me and say that, now I have just graduated. Today, I had a call from a mom who said, I want you to be the first to know that not only has Afzal got his degree, but he's also landed a lovely job. I mean, to me, that's my purpose. To me, that's the reward. It's not in tangible monetary terms. It is way beyond that. If each of us can find something that gives us that kind of, everybody has different things that motivates them, right? So whatever it is that helps you feel that you're making a difference and touching people's lives. So I'm really grateful to the people who are supporting you in this, because the Youth Empowerment series is doing a lot of good for a lot of people. We are all coming together on a common platform, right? And that to me is really fantabulous. So thank you very much for having me on board and giving me this opportunity.
I should be the one saying thank you for having such a brilliant guest speaker with us. It's an honor by just having you today. I think it's a great example that you use of an apple. Now it's like imprinted in my mind. Like now I'm going to say that to everyone. I feel like I could share my story as well. Like you're sharing of many other students of yours, for example, Afzal, that turned out to be my dad's name all of a sudden. But me as a student, like you said, a lot of students don't know what they're doing in life. They can't find the purpose, and which is okay for being a 17-year-old or 16-year-old or being a teenager. It's not important to find your purpose, and more like you need to know what you like and dislike. That's the first category of just finding your purpose. And that for me was really hard because I used to be like, oh, should I go talk to this person? How can I do this? So I was like a very shy, introverted person. So I was just like, opportunity is not meant for me. But that changed my mind when I enrolled myself for public speaking and debate, and then found this brilliant platform to the Tatawwar that changed like everything for me, like 360 degrees as a person, as an entrepreneur, and like in general, it gave me the public speaking skills in general to connect with people and get to know their stories. And that went through by my mentors saying this and how did they develop. So that gave me the inspiration to build my story and help others to know my stories, that many other students who are out there that don't believe that they don't have a purpose, which is okay. Guys, you're like teenagers, we don't know what to do, but at the end of the day, when you believe in yourself, that's the thing. When you believe in yourself, you can do anything. And I know it's a little cliche to say believe in yourself, but end of the day, if you believe in yourself, you can know that you can go past any rock as possible. Even Great Wall of China, you can believe that you break it, you can. You know, it's all about the motivation and finding the right platform that I did, like the Tatawwar.
Actually, one more thing I'd like to add is that of all of us, we tend to look outside for solutions. We look, but this is one thing, career counseling is one thing, when you have to introspect and look within to find out what works best for you. Because your cousin may have taken up something, or your sister may have gone for computer science. Doesn't mean that that is the same path for you. Most often we look at others. We look at what our friends are doing, what our cousins are doing, what are, whatever is trending now. Okay, now it's artificial intelligence, so I go and jump that bandwagon. No, you need to take a pause and see whether that is really what you want, rather than just go by herd mentality. Herd mentality is going where the whole herd goes. You need to see what works best for you. So in that regard, I feel all of us have, whatever our age, we need to, from time to time, introspect, reflect on what we have done, what we can do, where are the gaps, what are some of the things we need to do which can maximize our potential. We owe it to ourselves. It's not for others. We owe it to ourselves to find out what we are capable of and doing the best in that space. So that's what I'd like to convey to my students.
That's great to know the difference between your wants and your needs. I think that's the number one thing, just to know, like not just to copy because one of your family member did, but to find what is your need and your wants. I would like to ask a very last question. I think you have given this answer, but I would like to ask again. What are your thoughts on the Tatawwar as a platform? Do you think it's useful for students?
There is no question. That's because, see, one of the things that I noticed is that there are no libraries. There is very limited opportunities for conferences and all. Okay, now things are opening up. But when you have a platform where things are already organized and you have different people, I've been looking at past episodes, so different sessions that you've already hosted, where a person who had taken up music and then is now aspiring to be a doctor. There is no right or wrong. But in certain systems, like for example, in the Indian system or the British system, if you want to be a doctor, you have to go straight into it. Whereas in the North American system, you can do a bachelor's degree in anything and then go in for medicine after doing, of course, your MCAT or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, even with systems, it's different. So we need to see what works best for us. We need to see where we are. If it is the UAE, what are some of the prerequisites? What are some of the things that will get us to the place that we want to be in? And entrepreneurship goes beyond all borders. It is not only earlier the perception was that only those who did business will become entrepreneurs. Not true anymore. If you look at the statistics, during this time, so many influencers, so many photographers, so many different people have become entrepreneurs. There has become there have come about so many opportunities, although we think that, because of COVID, there has been a lot of disruption. There's also been some good. So an initiative like this, Yes series, has come at a very appropriate time, where people, especially young people, can utilize their time very meaningfully. So I hope those you're more than welcome to contact me. I'm on social media. I have a website. If there are any students who require my help, I'm always there for you. Okay.
Thank you so much again, Miss, for delivering such great response and sharing your perspective on improving career counselor. And you guys, how can you hit her up? You can see the wonderful poster there. You can just go and search and find her there. And now I would like to pass to Umaima to share some latest insight and trends on our topic.
Thank you so much, Saida. I just want to say before I start that this was such a wow session. Kind of my favorite. Thank you so much, Ms. Rima. I mean,
thank you.
I'm in my last year of high school, and this just really helped. I was looking at different careers as well, and I feel like this is a struggle that most of us teens go through. And just to hear that, we don't have to have all of the right answers now, and we have time to figure that out, just means a lot. And kind of helps with, decision making, things like that. And assures
good.
So thank you
all
so
the
much.
Best. Each one of you listening in, all the very best. Before I sign off, do the best you can. Don't worry about the competition. You just have to give your best shot. And you remember, it is not for your mom or your dad, it is for yourself.
Exactly.
That deserves some claps right there. It does.
All right, so I better get into that trends and insights that we have today. So I have for you guys today, jobs of the future. So will the online big bang of the 2020s, when everything that could go online did go online, accelerate digitally enabled jobs? And which jobs will top the 2030 future jobs list in the next new future of work? Over the past several years, the Cognizant Center for the Future of Work has published a series of reports on the jobs of the future 2030 that propose new roles which will emerge over the next decade and be central to businesses and employees everywhere. Because of the virus, time has compressed, resulting in a handful of these jobs of the future becoming jobs of the now. While it is impossible to predict exactly how global labor markets will rebound, leaders can and should use the future of work as a prism for their own organizations to plan ahead. If there's one lesson the pandemic has taught us, it's to anticipate change. Leaders can see how the future of work will play out in real time through leading indicators that reveal how the jobs market is adapting in the face of technology-based innovation and disruption. 2021 is a reset moment, a period where more examples of the theoretical become jobs made real. Before they can be built, however, jobs of the future have to be dreamed, and this requires vision and some imagination. The technology-driven world in which we live in is a world filled with promise, but also challenges. Cars that drive themselves, machines that read X-rays, and algorithms that respond to customer service inquiries are all manifestations of powerful new forms of automation. Yet, even as these technologies increase productivity and improve our lives, their use will substitute for some work activities humans currently perform, a development that has sparked much public concern. About half the activities people are paid to do globally could theoretically be automated using currently demonstrated technologies. Very few occupations, less than 5%, consist of activities that can be fully automated. However, in about 60% of occupations, at least 1/3 of the constituent activities could be automated, implying substantial workplace transformations and changes for all workers. While technical feasibility of automation is important, it is not the only factor that will influence the pace and extent of automation adoption. Other factors include the cost of developing and deploying automation solutions for specific uses in the workplace, the labor market dynamics, including quality and quantity of labor and associated wages, the benefits of automation beyond labor substitution, and regulatory and social acceptance. Another interesting thing is aging populations. By 2030, there will be at least 300 million more people aged 65 years and older than there were in 2014. As people age, their spending patterns shift, with a pronounced increase in spending on healthcare and other personal services. This will create significant new demand for a range of occupations, including doctors, nurses, and health technicians, but also home health aides, personal care aides, and nursing assistants in many countries. Globally, an estimate that healthcare and related jobs from aging could grow from 50 million to 85 million by 2030. Lastly, investments in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and climate adaptation. Investments in renewable energy, such as wind and solar, energy efficiency technologies, and adaptation and mitigation of climate change may create new demand for workers in a range of occupations, including manufacturing, construction, and installation. These investments could create up to 10 million new jobs in the trendline scenario and up to 10 million additional jobs globally in the step-up scenario. And yes, that's all from me. I hope what I shared has opened up your mind to what challenges and opportunities are out there. Thank you, and see you next time.
Well, there was some great stats and interesting insights that I haven't heard yet. But I'd like to say a big thank you again to our guest speaker here and also our viewers watching us for our live. And if you're more interested on the counseling that you want to get, you can check out her page, Counseling Point, on Google. Unfortunately, we have to end our live, but however, before we go, students know, like always, you can still register for the program at www.tatawwar.com. Schools, parents, NGOs, or any partners that would like to participate in empowering the next generation of social entrepreneurs are also invited to get attached through the website. You have 2 more weeks to register, so hurry up. Until then, see you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Adios, everyone.
Bye.